Hello and welcome to today in the news on Vanguard Life. I am Precious Chikudi. We begin with the front pages of the papers this morning, and also just in Governor Akeredolu of Ondo State is dead. We take a look at the front page on page 5 saying as death toll hits 115, outrage over Plateau massacre. Rider says the president orders security agencies to fish out perpetrators. Tinubu moved twang, northern elders, governors, senators, others mourn how 115 innocent citizens in 15 communities were killed. That's coming from the governor. Government to offset medical bills as deputy governor groups condemn attacks. We have no option but to resort to self-help, and that's coming from MBF. Scout area apprehend corporates. Tinubu orders security agencies. Arrest, prosecute perpetrators. Northern governors, senators tell federal government. Citizens urged to visit hospitals for blood donation. Can task security agencies on intelligence gathering, proactive intervention. Put a stop to senseless killings. Baptist Convention begs security agencies. Obi pays a tribute to fallen heroes. On page 9, by-elections, ABC PDP release timetable. Police solicits information over murder of journalists in Edo. 30 die in Rivers explosion. You can read that on page 6. Federal government to go after economic saboteurs next year, and that's coming from Senate leader. Stories above: net forex inflow rises 4% to $24.1 billion in 9 months. UTAL NNPCL guarantees fuel availability nationwide. Rivers crisis: Tinubu lauds Fubara over approach to rift with Wike, and you can read that on page 8. Panel summons Lemon, others over acquisition of Union Bank. We take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with slow e-payment channel worsens cash, UTAL trouble, and 2 months after, varsity teachers insist they are being denied 4 months salary. You can read that on page 3. Saboteurs holding naira dollars now on federal government's watch list. Over 50,000 soldiers in counter-terrorism separatist operation nationwide, says Chief of Staff. Senate laments rise in Taraba killings, calls for emergency. We have responsibility to ensure Nigeria's stability, Tinubu tells governors. APC alleges plots to plea for 8 billion naira from Kanu's coffers. Boxing Day, how harsh economy spoils fun for many Nigerians. And lastly on the front page of The Guardian, fast-tracking justice dispensation through alternative dispute resolution. We take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with outrageous Plateau massacre claims 150, over 10,000 displaced. Rider says, I lost my father, 10 other family members to attack, just photographer laments. President orders killers arrest. Can Northern Governor Elders Saraki condemns attack. We can see a photo story showing scenes of headsmen attack in Bokos and Bakin Ladi local government areas of Plateau State. Federal government plans a fresh regulation for OPay money point orders. You can read that on page 23. 25 killed in Rivers illegal refinery explosion. 300 Nigerians killed in foreign land. Blood cries endlessly for justice. You can read that on pages 8 and 9. Stories above: President meets governors, seeks stronger federal government state collaboration. Nigeria's diaspora remittances will exceed $20 billion in 2023, and that's coming from World Bank. Last year on the front page of the Punch newspaper, National Assembly reconvenes Friday to pass budget December 30, and that's all we can take on the front pages of the papers. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. If you're just joining, still today in the news of Vanguard Life. I am Precious Chikudi. We move straight over to the analysis segment. And of course, we're starting off with this very sad story. And just in Governor Akeredolu of Ondo State is dead. The family told Vanguard on Wednesday that Akeredolu died in Lagos, and it was learned that he was managed by the State House doctor up to his death because they could not fly him abroad. Akeredolu is dead. He died in Lagos. That's what the source said. They were looking for dialysis machines to be sent to his secret location in Lagos last week. He was 67 years old. The ailing governor returned to Nigeria in September following a 3-month medical leave in Germany, and only recently proceeded on another one after he was directed by President Bola Tinubu to hand over power to his deputy Lucky Aiyedatiwa. His deputy Lucky Aiyedatiwa has been standing in as acting governor. He adopted his prefix Arakurin, while his nickname is Aketi. He was a senior advocate of Nigeria who became president of the Nigeria Bar Association in 2008. Akeredolu was also a managing partner at the law firm of Olujimi and Akeredolu, which he co-founded with Chief Aki Olujimi, a former Attorney General and Minister for Justice of Nigeria. On 21st July 2020, he was declared as the Ondo governorship candidate after the primary election under the platform of the APC. He was the current governor of Ondo State, and he also doubled as the chairman of the Southwest governors. And Akeredolu experienced health issues after seeking medical treatment abroad in June. Although he returned to Nigeria in September, he remained in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State. And on Wednesday, December 13th of 2023, he proceeded on another medical leave and wrote a notice formally transferring power to his deputy, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, who later assumed the responsibility of the governor in full acting capacity. Following his return to Nigeria in September, Akeredolu stayed in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, and tried to govern his state from there, leading to public outrage. Pray that may his soul rest in perfect peace. As moving on to our next story, as death toll hits 115, outrage over a Plateau massacre, and it started on Christmas Eve, and of course by yesterday, a series of attacks by gunmen on communities in two local government areas of Plateau State have left no fewer than 115 citizens dead, hundreds injured, and 221 houses razed. Confirming the death toll, careful Governor Caleb Mutfwang said the massacre was unprovoked and tasked the security agents to unravel the sponsor of the carnage and their bloodthirsty foot soldiers. Other accounts said no fewer than 140 persons were killed, also 160 persons were killed. Different accounts are coming out from the attack, and the governor lamented, saying that just when we had finished preparation for Christmas, unprovoked attacks were unleashed on our communities. Several houses were set ablaze by the attackers on Sunday night. The gun-wielding and blood-curdling men also looted farm produce and destroyed properties as they butchered the residents. As I'm talking to you, in Mango local government alone, we buried 15 people. As of this morning in Bokos, we are counting over 100 corpses, not to talk of that in Barkinladi. The governor said the attacks were unprecedented and monumental, noting that though the assailants intended to break the spirit of the people and pull down the two councils, the spirit of the people on the Plateau remains unfazed. Mutfwang, however, said that the response time by security agents, especially the men of the Nigerian army, could be better. The governor also said the attacks are connected to land disputes between aboriginal dwellers and marauding terrorists. He warned that the people attacked could defend themselves, noting that it might get to a time that the people may not be able to restrain themselves from defending themselves and their lands against the assailants. Mutfwang, in a statement by his Director of Press and Public Affairs, Gian Pere, praised the bravery and sacrifices of security personnel, acknowledging the injuries sustained by some during efforts to secure the affected villages and assured of continued collaboration with the military and other security agencies to address security challenges given the limited resources available. Expressing sympathy for the affected families and communities, Governor Mutfwang urged citizens to stand strong, assuring them that the government is actively working to address the situation. He called on the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA) and Plateau State Emergency Management Agency to swiftly respond to the humanitarian crisis resulting from the attack. We move on to our next story, and our next story is federal government to go after economic saboteurs next year, and that's coming from Senate leader. Leader of the Senate, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, has said that the federal government would from next year go after economic saboteurs who have made life difficult and unbearable for Nigerians. Bamidele also insisted that the National Assembly would pass the 2024 appropriation bill on December 30 to sustain the January-December budget cycle. He made this disclosure at a session with journalists in Ekiti, saying all federal lawmakers would have to cut short their holiday to ensure speedy passage of the 2024 appropriation bill. At the session, Bamidele expressed concerns about the activity of economic saboteurs who were doing everything to keep exchange rates high against Naira. or trying to make the naira unavailable to the people who kept their money in banks. He therefore revealed that the federal government will from next year go after economic saboteurs who are making life difficult and unbearable for Nigerians. The federal government will charge, prosecute, and punish them for their acts of economic sabotage. All this will take place next year. In the long run, those who mopped up the naira and dollars from the markets will face the consequences of their actions. Those who mopped up the dollars to keep commodity prices high will definitely not escape justice. Those who are speculating are also on the watch list of the federal government. At some point, the federal government will have to go after them. The Senate leader reviewed the plans of the federal government. Beyond all these activities of economic saboteurs, Bamidele assured Nigerians that Nigeria would witness a true era of renewed hope that would herald development, progress, and prosperity, citing diverse plans the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has put in place to transform the national economy. We'll take a look at our next story, and of course, our next story is a crisis, Rivers crisis. Tinubu lauds Fubara over approach to rift with Wike, and the president commended Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State over what he described as the governor's statesmanship in resolving the political impasse between him and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), Nyesom Wike. He noted that the federal and subnational governments have a mutual responsibility of ensuring the country's peace and stability. Speaking during a meeting with the Nigeria Governors Forum (NGF) at his residence in Lagos, the president reiterated his condemnation of the latest killings in Plateau State. Addressing the governors, the president issued a stern directive to security agencies to halt the carnage in Plateau State and intensify the pursuit of those responsible for the recent tragic events in Bokos and Barkin-Ladi local government areas of the state. Condoling with the victims, President Tinubu emphasized the sanctity of human life and called for a paradigm shift among those with contrary beliefs, cautioning them about the inevitable consequences of their action. A statement by the presidential spokesman quoted Tinubu as saying, "Nigeria needs peace and stability to move forward. Nigeria belongs to all of us, and we all have to take care of it." President Tinubu acknowledged the presence of Governor Fubara of Rivers State at the meeting, commending him for his effort to peacefully resolve the political challenges in the state. He said, "I thank you for your statesmanship. I listened to your broadcast and your emphasis on peace. It is only with peace that effective governance can thrive, and governance has commenced in earnest under my watch," he said. On 2024 budget proposal before the National Assembly, the president informed the governors that he had a review meeting earlier in the day on certain elements in the appropriation bill with the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, and the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Atiku Bagudu. He emphasized the need for joint responsibility and closer collaboration between the federal and subnational government to foster rapid infrastructure development in every part of the nation. Alright, so let's take a look at Mr. and Mrs. before we go. And Mr. is saying, "I don't like when you accuse me of infidelity. I'm a busy man. I don't mix business with pleasure. Now the home pressure is making matters worse." And Mrs. reply says, "So which is bothering you, the pleasure or the pressure?" So Mr. Which one is bothering you, the pleasure or the pressure? Of course, that's what we can take today on Today in the News. Remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. Find out today's stories. Go to our website www.vanguardngl.com to find out more. I am Precious Chukudi, and thank you for watching.